Hello? Hello? Rajendra?
Hello.
Hello?
Good evening, Nirmalaya. Just,
Good evening, Daya.
yeah, I'm sending all the documents now. So let's Preeti also join. So meanwhile, I will send all the documents, including this today's session also. Let me.
Okay. Do you have the recording sessions? I have sent them email. No one has sent me that. If you don't mind, can you send the recordings also?
Recordings I also need to get from them.
And
I will ask Rajendra today.
What is the batch you okay, the next batch, where are you doing? What are you doing right now? The new batch.
Next batch is it is going on this BP. One batch is going on I mean the new batch is going on BP and cash management things.
Okay.
So it's a very beginning stage.
It is like in the evenings, night times, the time which we had 9 to.
Evening, yeah.
Batch? It is weekend batch.
Weekend batch.
Okay.
This weekend batch is today. The BP general ledger is covered. BP is going to be covered.
Okay.
So anyway, in case any concepts, I mean, you have some cash that you can attend, or I will, and I will.
Preeti is not able.
I think she will join in. Maybe she's not joining, or she's joining.
She said she is not able to open the link. I have forwarded to her.
Okay. So maybe the problem from PC or something. Otherwise, we're also using same this one link. But probably there is a problem with the system, I think. Sorry.
Can you send me that FSCM one if you have any document?
FSCM.
Okay. Cash management. Yeah.
Okay, fine. FSCM in-house cash management on standard things, or on classic, or on S4HANA. S4HANA I already sent, I think.
No, but, not the classic. The classic thing. Yeah, I just want the classic thing.
Okay.
No, I want the
classic things. Okay, fine then. Classic things. Anyway, if you want, I will make a session also. Basically, there are so many things out there in the classic FSCM. Let me show you something.
Okay.
Also, maybe I have a document. So many documents are there.
Basically, we have regular AP, but not on FSCM, because we should have that module,
FSCM,
right? Otherwise,
right. Yeah. FSCM, you will not have much of the things in the standard point of view. Always, when you go for FSCM, everything. That's why we are calling it as an extended finance, right? So always you'll have so many baddies, so many things will come into the picture. Standard, Definitely in the standard part you will be see less and more into developments kind of thing. So but anyway, I will take you to one or two implementations which I think I had a document somewhere. I'll show you all those things one day.
Yeah,
I'll explain you what exactly.
I have worked extensively on DME, like different file formats, .txt, flat file, all that stuff, like pass file, lockbox, everything. But just on IHC,
Okay.
like once I have the system access or menu, I think I could figure it out. But if I read the SAP material, like you have something like you just send me, that will be helpful.
Sure, on the standard things I'll share you one of the implementation one or two implementation which we did. So those documents I will send you, but probably that might not be applicable for all the clients, but because we have some design, I mean even I have seen two different designs for, but it will be similar for almost 60-70%, but rest will be little different. Okay, sometimes you will be in one way and sometimes, yeah. But in case your client is a global client, then it will be match for you. So overall design.
Yeah,
See,
ours
which
is
will
like
be,
we have both in Europe as well as US. Yeah.
then it will be most probably it will be
Global.
match for you. Then it will be match for you. So I think those things are the internal things is I think as it is discussed yesterday. Almost it's looking same for me, the requirement. But anyway, there are I will send you only specific things for ISC, but ISC will be again it will be integrated with different things there, and also the landscape which you.
Okay, the IHC, the business partner what we create, that is only for the intercompany transactions, and the regular vendors, they still be regular vendors, right?
No, come again. ISC, okay.
No, in IHC, we create business partners. Business partners
True.
also we create, right? Like authorized drawee,
Yes,
all that
yes.
with all those things.
Yes.
That is only for the cross-company code transactions, and the regular vendors, like for example, I need to pay the regular vendor. We don't create them as a BP, right? They will be still as a vendor only.
Yes. See, so here external vendors. That's what I don't know why how the design is, but generally when there will be different things, but generally you will create your vendor as BP, and even customer also is BP. Customer also, yeah, vendor and customer also is BP in the standard way. Okay, but when you have other design like you, for example, you have different components also SAP is giving like that. I mean, like as I said, basically if you have payment factory models and all those stuff, so then there will be little different will handle all the standard things we will use. We will use just a minute.
Okay, in the I don't remember in F110, do we have option to give the business partner? No, right? We normally give just bank, vendor or customer only, right?
F110. That's what. If you go for normal way, that looks little different. I mean the BP, you mustn't should create your BP, your vendor as a BP in the standard way. That vendor only normally you'll use the vendor number which you created as a BP. In case you have in-house cash, unless you create the BP, then you will not use a vendor. So that vendor only, the vendor number which you're also creating as a BP, and that vendor you are using. That is one way. And also there is a little different kind of thing when you have the model like payment factory and all. So that point of time you directly you'll create your, for example, if you have a cross-border vendor, then you will create it as a cross-border vendor. All the details in the master data only we will make we will make the difference in master data. We'll differentiate in the master data only. So the IBAN
Only
number
the
and
bank
all.
details. Okay, we will give
Yeah,
the
the bank
we will use the
details.
vendor number. Only the
Yeah,
bank
vendor
details
number.
will draw from the BP role, right? Or not from the vendor master, from the BP.
See, once you migrate, that's what that is the standard way. Standard way, basically, you whatever the details you are maintaining for the bank details you are maintaining for the BP, that will be applicable. Okay. In the normal way, when you have, I mean, if you have a global company, most of the times you can see these models like payment factory and all. At that point of time, what we will do is we will create the vendors. In case we have a cross-border vendor, we will create it as a cross-border vendor. So all those differentiations we will do in the master data only. So
Okay,
if it is a
and when
cross-border,
we run F110, okay, when we run
yeah,
F110, my question is, we give the vendor number, right? And it has a
yes,
corresponding BP also. Each vendor has a corresponding BP. And the
yes.
bank, to which bank we have to pay, will it draw from the BP master data or from the vendor master data bank details? Where do we need to maintain the bank details?
So say no, the same vendor, whatever the bank details you maintained, so those details only it will be picked. So as it is a mandatory for to create as a BP when you go for ISC module, so you are creating there. So but the details you will not maintain differently for BP to vendor. So you are using that finance vendor for the ISC. So for that you are creating it as a BP.
Okay, gotcha.
But there will be no difference in maintaining the master data,
Okay.
maintaining the bank
Only
details
vendor
there.
master.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got you. Thank you.
the same bank details. But unless you create it as a BP and you have a different roles, you need to activate and run after that we need to can able to create that BP. And then once you create it as BP, then only you can able to use it for ISC. That is a requirement. That's the reason we are creating as a BP. But bank details point of it will be look same. It will be look
Okay,
same.
got you. Thank you.
What is a BP? I'm sorry, I just joined. What is a BP?
BP is a
Business
business
partner.
partner.
Okay,
Business.
business partner.
Okay.
Okay, so
Business
you have
partner.
to create a vendor as a business partner, but that's not
Yeah.
master.
Earlier, basically, if you want, you can continue in the today's session. I think you missed out that particular session in long back.
I have to, yeah.
Long back, I think. Long back. But today we have after this session, BP session also is there. If you want to continue, you can continue. So BP is, I will give you the detailed information there. So
Okay,
BP is basically earlier we used to use only for FSC modules like dispute, collection, credit, and ISC, all these modules. So now on S4HANA, basically it is mandatory to create your customer and vendor. Earlier it was not. If you don't have the FSC module, you need to create BP as a customer and vendor as a BP. So but now you mustn't should create it as a customer and vendor as a BP. So for
okay,
that we are following the different approaches how to maintain the BP and how to do the configuration and what are the prerequisites which you need to take in care from FI end. Also, what is the configuration is needed from the BP end. So all these things we have discussed in one session. I think you have missed the session. Today again we have that session. If you want to continue after this session at 7:30 at IST, that means for you 9.
I can
So you
go
can continue.
because so January we have a project going on, right? In February, my
Yeah.
plan is I'll go over all the recordings again during my time, whenever
Okay.
I can on the on. So, but I just want to make sure I have all the recordings. But then I'll just go over. I missed the classes, but I'll go over.
Okay. Fine. So then it's fine. So okay, anyway, if you not understand something also, it is no worry. So we continuously I'll do the sessions and you can join one more time also. Not a problem.
Okay, yeah. I'll email you if I'll email you and ask you. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Or any doubts during the project phase? Basically, that point of time also little different things will be coming to the picture. What sometimes which will not cover. So you can mail me so that I will reply on that mail, whichever you have questions or something, or you have sometimes you will have the gaps definitely. So those gaps, even if you don't know something, you can raise me a question so that I will answer I will reply your mails.
That sounds good.
And
Thank
this
you.
is yeah, and this is today we will discuss on the migration part. So in the migration, couple of things we have covered on the pre-migration things, prerequisites for the migration, which whatever we have done as of all the in the as on today. So those are all, most of the things are also part of migration. So that's why I taken this topic is at the end. So the preparation for the migration, we have done so many things there, and from the GL part, from the estate, those are all the prerequisites basically which we done the configuration and all. So let's see one by one. Then during the migration, what we will do, we will see, and after the migration also, we will do something. So what we will do, that also we will see, and also the important notes also I already mentioned in this document. So completely before migration, what are the nodes we will implement, and after the migration, what are the nodes we will use. So all the information I have captured in this document, and one more document I shared this document also with you. This is also very useful for you while doing the migration. We will go like this. Basically, we will have our own templates. So this is also very useful. You know what you will get. So generally we will capture. We will plan accordingly. We will plan like this. Okay. So migration for cost elements for the customization, and check the transactional data, enrich the data, and migration document for item data structure and migration balances, and fixed asset transaction data, and complete the migration, and migration is the bank accounts, and all these things we will do. So this also I already shared with you. I already sent this mail to you. I already attached this document and sent it to you. So and from the preliminary checks point of view, before you start the Simple Finance project, what exactly we are doing. So those information also I mentioned here, because there are so many nodes. Again, you go to the real time again, you will struggle a lot. So that's the reason even SAP is providing all these things, but I wanted to whatever we have prepared for our reference purpose, all these templates. So I'm sharing with you all these things. So we will keep like this before we start the Simple Finance project, what we need to take in care, and also we will track the status which we are done or not, and also the additional information is required or not, and the references for SAP notes which we are referring all those notes, all this information we have we have used these particular templates, and we capture all this information here. When you see this before you start some finance project, basically we need to do all these activities. So you just go through all these things. There are different nodes which we need to implement for the things. These nodes also will be very useful. Okay, and here we will check. Yeah, consistency check we will do. During the consistency check, what we will do, I mentioned here. Okay, during the consistency checks, we will perform all these activities. Perform very consistency checks before Simple Finance recognition, and following all these reports. So these reports we will execute, and all these things we have captured everything there. So you can get and period closing process point of view, what we need to take in care. So I have captured all the information here. So this is for our internal purpose. We always, when we go to the migration things, we'll see the status where we are, and whether we have everything in the system or we need something else, and also which are all the nodes we need to be taken care on. All those things we will take all those inputs in the trackers. So according to that, we will do the we will plan, and we will implement things. So this will talks about the module and sub module for the asset management point of view, for the inventory valuation, for the account payable. In case you have inventory valuation, then it will come into the picture. For example, you don't have manufacturing process and all those things, then it will be not come into the picture, but only the activation part will be into the coming picture for ML point of view. So all those things I captured here, all the activities which we'll do for account, all the account payable and account receivable and general ledger and internal errors, cost center accounting, and profit centers and profit center accounting, and all these things are, I mean, whatever we have discussed, those only will be, you can see the changes, but rest also anyway you need to do the business, so that's the reason we need to anyway have that information also in the system. That's why we have captured everything here. And documentation for data set point of view. So before we start the from the data set point of view, we need to take care of all these activities. Generally, for our reference purpose, where we are the status and additional information and references, which we are taking care here. The status is completed or not, that we will track for internal purpose. Okay, that is why I created these 3 columns, and references is any notes which will refer, so those information will map here. So here wherever you have that information, that means you are using that, and if you have access for Hub, you for all the notes and all those information also you can able to see that. Okay, and for the period end closing activities, what we are taking care of here, so all these things also step by step I given here. Okay, so and for the customer defined code, in case you have the own specific developments, so what we need to do, so that information I provided here. Okay, and from the migration of cost elements point of view, so migration, when you do the migration of all the cost, because now I mean there is no separate master data which we are creating for the cost elements, so you already have the cost elements in the system, in the classic systems. Now you are migrating, so what are the things which you need to take in care to bring all those cost elements under the GL? So those things we are checking all these things here. So we need to check the inconsistencies in the GL accounts to cost elements, and migrate secondary cost elements to chart of accounts, and display status migration of cost elements, and migration default account assignment, display migration of default account assignment, all the default account assignment. So whatever the, for example, you have something at cost element level earlier which used to be the account assignment, so those things are moved to OKB9. This is already discussed, and most of the things we have discussed. Basically the same thing we will do here. For the consistencies, there is to check these consistencies and all, we have something that also I will show you in the system, and also the technical checks also to analyze the transaction data and display the status of analyzing the transaction data, reconcile transaction data, and all these things also we will do during the migration. And enrichment of data, for example, you have not implemented earlier something, and you are going on now the fancy features like document splitting. So those all the features which we need to enrich for all the submodules. For example, you have profit center or segmentation. Profit centers, you have profit center. You have additional dimension in the document splitting for the profit center. So that you wanted to enrich. So that point of time you will enrich all those things during the migration. So that checks we need to do. So for that we are tracking this particular sheet. And also migration of documents, migration of accounting documents for the universal general entry structure, and display of the status document migration to the universal general entry. So these are all the things we need, anyway, once we do the migration, those steps which we are following in this document, so then this will be done. So those all, whether it is done or not, so all the things we are tracking here. So this will be helpful for the tracking of the status and all, and also helpful. And also we, whatever the references we have taken, whatever the notes we have referred and during the migration, all this all information I captured here. This will be also helpful for you. And this is for the migration of the house bank information, and this is for completing the migration. This is for after the migration what we are doing, and also the business reconciliation after migration. And this is for productive start and productive startup. So that and those things which we are taking care, and also for migration and preparing for the migration. Anyway, there are so many things which we need to take in care. So for asset accounting during GL controlling, those anyway in this document we'll discuss all those parts, and this will be cover most of the things. And some of the things which we are referring for the notes and all, that information I provide in these 2 documents. Okay, and the general ledger, what we are doing. So these are all we are already done, and the controlling also what we are doing. So in case you have BW, we need to execute the BW delta extraction for the accounting based COPA, and delete settings for the changes for the profitability segment characteristics, and also we need to maintain operating concern. So most of the things we have seen here. So this BW extraction also, I mean, when you already on the classic system, so those extractions also we need to do during the migration kind of. And also production system point of view, what we are taking care, and asset accounting point of view, these are all most of the things we are covering. Automatic adjustment of parameters for the activate chart of accounts, and chart of depreciation, and manual adjustment for chart of depreciation for the checking settings, accounting principles and ledger rules. These are all again you need to readjust, right? So as the new dimensions are coming, which were not available in your classic systems, those are all the things we need to take in care. For that, again, we need to, I mean, check whether we have completed all those things or not. So that's what we are tracking here. And the transactional data point of view. So, all the information whatever we have done, so I captured here. So how we are referring, and wherever the important notes are there, so everything you will get here. This will be very useful approach. You can refer during your migration also. I think you can use the same templates also, just doing some little modification. This you know where you will get. This is only for internal purpose. We have created these templates. So even if you go to the real-time migration, so you can refer and you can add something else also, because some of the notes are new notes also there. I think I missed very few. I think most of 95% I covered here. And also this document will talks about the entire migration process. So now we will talk about the migration process. So migration process, basically we are the as we discussed, we have pre-migration and also migration, and after migration what we'll do, that we will take it. The pre-migration steps we will see first. So most of the things we have covered in the pre-migration during our sessions only. Yeah, let's go to the system also. Some of the things we can see also, some of the things which is not possible. Sorry. Let me do one thing. I think able to hear me? Is there any disturbance in my voice or something? Okay.
No,
No,
we can hear you.
fine, right? Okay. Because I'm not able to mute myself sometimes. So this is a screen you can see for the migration. So I will show you in the system as well. So this is a pre-preparation for the migration steps which we are executing here, preparation for the migration for the customizing for the general ledger accounting, and preparation for the migration for the customization of asset accounting we are doing here. And also in the same way, if you have the controlling modules, if you have or not, something is mandatory, and something if you implemented everything, so then you need to do everything here. So this is for customization for the controlling. So maintaining operating concern. So these things we will check. So and this is for okay. This is for pre-migration. So in the post again during the migration, I have different steps. We'll go and move on system. Okay. Yeah, this is a preparation steps for migration, and this is during migration that what we'll do, and activities after migration, which what we'll do. So this is same thing I captured here. So let's see one by one. So during the preparation of during the preparation stage, which we will take care of all these activities. So we need to check the customization settings for the prior to the migration. So here you can see here we'll go one by one. Yeah. Yeah, we need to check the customization settings prior to the migration. So this is a report basically fins underscore migration underscore pre-check. So now it is little different. I mean they have added something also here. Program is looks same, but only the one they have changed little naming convention kind of thing. But it will work on 16. And let me take you to the system. The same thing I'm showing, but anyway I will take you once again. I think we have changed this program little, so it's not working. But generally, this so here we can able to execute the same thing. I think. Okay, so this is also same thing. I think we have changed on the 1610 little different. So, but this is the same thing. Basically, you are once you executed the program, it will say is there any issues or you are. I mean, you are good to go, or is there any issues, or and there are some notes is referring check pass with warnings and I mean see in the note. So these are all the notes which we need to refer while doing this particular step. So we need to, in the real time, we will do all those nodes or basis case will be implemented. So those information you can check here. And I mean, we need to check the customization settings for the prior to migration, and we need to define the message types for posting before and during the migration. This step will help. Here we will take 150. So here basically what we will do is okay. So in this step, I mean the previous step, basically this particular program we have executed before installation. Any version it is almost same, but the latest versions the program is little changed. So but it is almost looks same. So this earlier program we used to use migration underscore check pre-check. Now it is, I think they have the naming convention is a little different. And now after installation we should execute it for the recheck. And for the define message types for the posting before the during of the migration. So what we are doing here is, especially in this customizing activity, we are defining that users are informed by the messages when they want to post in the system, although the migration has not been set to be finished. So we are using these particular things. We are entering the work area pin underscore fi underscore mig, and we are basically for the message type 150 selecting a username if the message applies to the specific user. So we are we are leaving the fields. In case the user name is empty, the message will apply for all the users. So basically during the migration, if I mean these messages will be sent to the users. In case if user wanted to post something, we wanted to ask user to post something. So then we are applying this particular application area pins underscore fi underscore mig. So when I mean if we use this particular work area under whatever the users, in case if you will not give any user here under this work area, so then this message will be sent to the all the users. I mean to perform some on some checks on the posting side. So for that we are using this particular application area pin underscore fi underscore mig. So we go inside, we'll come to know that as well. Yeah, this is a program basically which we are using. So here we will enter the message type 150, which we are taking is 150 number 150. So I think the initial using different version is a 1610. We are using something else. I think let me check that. Yeah, these are the message numbers which we are using for different purposes. So for the 005, we will use a balancing character is not allowed kind of. And for the 13, there are changes related to 1 and 3, 3, 4. And there are a GL customization changes related to the ledger, company code, and period 1 to already costly for the company code. So these are all the different message types we are using. But the 150 was used to applicable for all. I think this is not available in this particular version. But here we will define the username. So once we give the username, so for that particular user, it will send a message. Either we sent it on the online or to the batch ups. So that information we are giving here. So the message, let's say for example, if I say balance carry forward is not allowed for particular user, for admin. So I am the user now. So then the message will be sent to him that he will be not allowed. This particular will be not user will be should not post. I mean, kind of. So in case if we allow someone to post something on the things, for example, posting ledgers one before fiscal year, it's not permitted. Or these are all the different kind of functionalities which use from the user end during the during the migration users will perform. So those things we are configuring here. So for those users, the message depends on the message types, and depends whatever the users we will give for them, we can able to restrict. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and set number ranges for jobs and activate master data framework. Let's go by step here. So we will. That's what we will select the username and also how the message type we wanted to send. So that we will give here. And also activate SAP reference IMG for financial accounting. We already activated. That's why it is not showing in the demo system. Generally, to get this particular path for all the paths which are coming on S4HANA, so this particular path will be enabled by executing this particular step. So RAGL underscore swap underscore IMG underscore new. This is in this customization. Basically, we are activating the SAP reference IMG structure and the financial accounting new. So all the functionalities which are available on S4HANA, after activating that, you can able to see in the configuration node. And also we can also deactivate this. Yeah, it's a new IMG. So this is a program which we are using for activating and deactivating the configuration nodes. Or now, for example, I activated, so that's the reason I am able to see all the configuration nodes which are relevant for S4HANA. Otherwise, you will not able to see. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, so and from the also we need to check and adopt the fiscal year variance. So in this particular activity, the migration to the this universal journal or residual required to unique fiscal year variant in controlling and financials. Even fiscal year variant point of view, even classic systems also it is same, but you must and should sync up with your finance to controlling module. You must and should use sync up with your with controlling whatever the fiscal year you are using in the finance, that should be sync up with the controlling. So this decision was there, and even on the classic systems also, we always used to use a same fiscal year variant and posting period variants and chart of accounts and all those stuff. So that we need to check before for the migration. If it is not sync up, or then you need to take in care of those activities. You need to compare the fiscal year variance between the controlling and their assignment for the company code. Whatever the company codes you are assigning to the controlling area, for all those company codes, the fiscal year variant, not only fiscal year variant and also other things, your chart of accounts and posting period variant, all those should be also same. So in case if you use a different one, so then its system will throw you the error. So all those things you need to rectify. Again, you need to cross check and do all the rectification. Okay. And the report provides a selection of the controlling area, but the report must be executed for all the controlling areas used in the production. So that's what, for example, you have a different fiscal year, different chart of account, different parameters you maintain for your company codes. So again, you wanted to, when you have a very inconsistencies, that means I think you need to sync up all the company codes which you are assigning to your controlling area. That company, all those company, between all those company codes and controlling area or fiscal year variant should be same. So that consistency checks we need to check here. Okay, in case everything is look same, so you will get a message like no changes are required for the fiscal year variant. In case there is inconsistencies, then it will throw you the error, so you need to again adjust the fiscal year variant for your company codes as you maintain at your controlling area. So let's do that. See, for example, for my company code RB05 I created RB05 controlling area. Let's do execute. What will happen? We'll see. So here information is showing no changes required for fiscal year variant. So if I change my fiscal year variant to the company code and assign, say for example, I am using K4 and K4 for K4 for my company code and K4 for my controlling area as well. That's why I'm not getting any inconsistencies here. In case if I add one more company code to my controlling area where I am using V3, so that point of time it will be throw you the error that this company code should not be assigned to this controlling area, or you can need to again change your fiscal year variant to K4. So that is a message you can expect here in case you do you have inconsistencies. If you maintain the different currencies for your company code other than your controlling area. So those things you can see in case if you mismatch. But I did in the same way in the right direction, so I'm not getting any message. So I'm on the track. And define currency settings for the migration. This is the same thing which we have discussed. The same thing we will do. I mean, but that is a configuration point of view. So this define exchange rate types. What exchange rate type, whichever the exchange rate types you will use, those exchange rate type, which are all the exchange rate types you consider for the migration. So that exchange rate type we need to define here. For example, I'm using the standard moving average price, so I'm giving the same thing. And this is a cumulative amount for the previous CO. This is for previous CO specific currencies. For example, according to the FI currency customization, we need to take into consideration, or for previous CO specific translation currencies, either we need to use document currency for all the valuations, or there are different kind of consideration which we can take into consideration. Either it can be unified, or it can be use document currency for all the versions valuations, or calculate transaction currency for each parallel valuation. So these are all the three options we'll get for CO specific currencies things. And also here for previously CO specific currencies, according to FI currency customization we need to do, or according to CO approach we need to do. So generally we will select always is according to FI currency customization, and here also generally we'll use document currency for all the valuations. And so for the migration for general ledger customization, in this activity we will migrate all the GL ledgers to the new configuration. So these following should be migrated: basically company code assignments and currency settings, fiscal year variant, and open period variant. I mean that means posting period variants, and setting for the real-time integration for the OP. So all these things need to be set up as we done the setup in the system. So during our sessions. Okay. So then So define ledgers for the currencies types. So this is also basically whatever we covered in the general ledger session. In the same way, first we need to take the inputs from the customer, and we will have a data collection sheets and all those templates we will use in the real time. So those in the DCS, the currencies part will have a separate sheet, and we'll collect all the requirements from the client. So what are the ledgers he is using, what are the currencies he is using, and how many currencies he wanted to report for his company code, how many ledgers he wanted to report, how many accounting principles, which account, I mean, how many accounting principles he wanted to attach for each and every ledger. So all ledger and company code specific things. So those are all the things we will do the configuration as we did in the during our session. So in the same way, the concepts and everything is look same. So before that only we need to do all the customizing activities. Okay. So we have done all these things in the same way we will do in I mean in the system also. The same thing we need to do here. Okay. For the define ledgers for the CO version. So this is a previous step which we discussed about. So it will you need to migrate your all these things. Your successfully migrated and migrated general ledger customizing is successfully performed, which we already done just by clicking the message. So these things we need to check. So if it is successful means what we are doing here is what we did here. Let me show you. So some inconsistencies in the GL customizing need to be resolved. So what are those? We will see. Okay. Define currency settings and migrate general ledger customization and existing consistent in the general ledger settings. So in case we have done all these steps, right? So during our sessions also whatever we covered. So these things, in case you have any inconsistencies, company code assignments or currency settings or fiscal year variant and posting period variant. Is there any inconsistencies between if you can see? Those are all the messages those are all the error message you can see here. All those things need to be rectified first. Then only you can able to proceed further. So otherwise, system will stop you. What are the common mistakes you will do? Basically, that's what either it is a fiscal year variant is not created properly, or listing period variant not created properly, or it is not synced up with the controlling module. Other this COFI CO for integration which we are doing for those steps which we have configured and tested. So in the same way, so is there any mistakes if you do, then it will show you here to rectify all those things. For example, you have not attached accounting principles to your ledger. So system will ask you to do the same thing. And you have not defined the currency in the currency type, and you are trying to use the same currency in the for your ledger. So that point of time also system will throw you error that's saying that you have not configured and you are using your system. You're using to your company code. So first you need to define it. So like that you will get different kind of errors. So here everything looks perfect. So that's why all the ledgers, you can see all the ledgers are migrated properly. So in case you will not define currencies or something is in the proper way, then it will throw you the error. And also the currencies part and also posting period variance part also. So all the things we need to set up in a proper way for the ledgers. So if everything is looks same, so then everything looks perfect, then system will give you all the green messages like here. So then you can able to proceed for further steps. So define ledgers for the currency setup. So here we have done the setup for the standard ledger and also for the exchanging ledger. Okay, so in the same way which we already discussed, so on the during the sessions, in the same way we will do the setup. And those are the only points we need to take into consideration from the business also to get all those inputs from the business. So anyway, those inputs we will get from the business. So according to that, we will do the configuration and we'll need to check up check up whether we are done in the right way or not. So in case if you miss something, then system will throw you the errors, like errors, or if everything is perfect and the configuration is you've done in the configuration in the right way, then you will get the green message to good to go kind of. Okay, and define ledgers for the CO version. Define ledgers for the CO version in the same way. This step also we executed during our sessions. So this is done. Assignment for the 2.0 ledger, and you do this for the company code level, but you have to use the same ledger for all the company codes. So this we have discussed, right? So during our sessions, the same ledger we can assign for all the ledgers. We can assign for the same version, and also we can use a different ledgers for the different versions, and also the two ledgers for one version and one ledger for other version. Also, it is possible. So only those are all the possible things which we need to take in care, and this also mandatorily need to be created, because your all the actual and planning data is now it will be saved. You are saving at ledger plus company code level. So that's why we are doing this setup. So this is a new thing on HANA. So this is what we discussed during our sessions also. So this is also this setup also need to be done. This is all COFI, COFI integration part, which we did in our sessions and configured, and also explained those things. We can go through once again. And the defined document types for the posting for the controlling. So now for all the internal postings also you can expect the document type. So for that we are using the CO document type, or the cross company code document types. For the intercompany transactions we are using the document type CC. For the normal CO document types we are using for CO document type CO. And also I shown the control also there where we have where we need to have how we are differentiating those things also. Let's execute one by one. So this is this is already discussed, and in the same way we need to configure the currency settings as we did it in the. So for example, in my ledger for my company code 0L, I want to use this, and I want for example here I'm doing mistake something here. I have not assigned a group currency or whatever. So the system will ask you to do that, and you are not syncing up with and you have not assigned the fiscal year variant or posting period variant to your company code. So then the system will throw you the error. So if for me, I have done everything and I have assigned my fiscal year variant. You can see here, and all are looking good. So the posting period variant and fiscal year variant and all those things I have assigned, and everything is looking good. So that's the reason I am not getting any error for my company code. So in case you miss something here, so then system will you should make sure. So all these settings done in the proper way. And this is for currency type, and also for the review assignments for the ledgers and company code and accounting principles. So this for ledger, whatever the accounting principles you have created, whether you are using in the right way or not. So those things we need to take in care here. And for define ledger for the CO version, this is what we are talking about. So this is what there are three possibilities which we discussed on. So in the same way, we need to configure this as well. And define document types for posting and controlling. Document types for posting and controlling. Basically, this is a document type which we are using for the CO postings. So where we have now for the secondary cost also we can see the accounting document. That's why we are selecting this. This is the only thing changing here. Nothing is changing. This is only dedicated document type we are using for CO postings. In case you have CO posting for the intercompany transactions, then you will use the CC. So in the real time we will use the CC, but here it is mentioned as CO only in the previous step, but it is we'll use the CC. And define document types for mapping the CO version. This is also we already discussed. This is basically for all the business transaction types which are for the CO business. Earlier we used to use all the business transactions in the CO. Now anyway, you are creating all customers as a GL. So those things also need to be mapped with the document type to post the documents in the finance part. So the same thing we are taking care of. The document types CCO And document type, generally for the intercompany transactions, we will use a SCC. What is the standard system? It is coming as a CO, but it is not CO, but generally we will use a CC. Okay. So this is also we discussed in the initial session. These are all, I think, we have covered in all during our sessions in the GL part. Just go through once again. So these are all should be there before the before during pre-migration. Okay, and check the defined default values for the posting for the controlling. So these default values which you wanted to post for which ledger you wanted to post for so that particular ledger we will give here. So that ledger, and also this document type mapping variant also will give here, because all the business transactions type. So we are mapping there for the particular document type. So in that way it will be take all these things into consideration. So now whatever the ledger you will use for this particular ledger, all the default value will be posted. All the default values for the posting in the controlling will be posted to this particular ledger. If you wanted to use whichever the ledger you wanted to create, so whichever the ledger you wanted to track, so that ledger you need to give here. And define settings for accounting document type. Let's go by one here. So this is what we did. And define documents for mapping for the CO business transactions. I explained clearly here, so this is enough for you. And also, which we already covered all these things in the system also. Check the defined default values of the postings in the controlling. So this also covered. Offsetting account document type. So in this particular customization activity, basically we define how the systems calculate the offsetting account in all the applications. You have to carry out the activity before you perform any migration activities that affect the offsetting accounts. So SAP is always recommending to choose the option as a case 2, but including line item generated automatically. So this step also we will see. This is for offsetting account. Okay, some problems are here. Okay, we have not. Okay, go to the new entries. Let's see. Yeah. So do not display offsetting account, or generally we will select this. Always display offsetting account with the highest amount. So this is for which for that we'll define the offsetting account for account determination purpose. So and define source ledger for the migration of the balances. So this also we will do. So here basically in this activity we define the source ledger, and by doing the source database tables of the balance for general ledger accounting using the following. So that the source ledger and that also will use the target ledger for company code, which you can specify to apply the settings for all the company codes. Also, you can, it is possible, or you can use a start. Here you will use a starting fiscal year, and by specifying year 001, you apply for all the settings for all the fiscal years. And let me see. Yeah, let's do in the system as well. Yeah, here. So we'll give the ledger here, which you wanted to use, and also the company code and the fiscal year variant, whichever you wanted to use. So that particular information, for this particular ledger, you can we will give the we will do the all the GL balances we need which you wanted to migrate, for which ledger you wanted to use. So that information we are giving here, the specific ledger for specific company code. So whatever you wanted to give, so that particular source ledger we will give for all the balance migrations. And execute inconsistency check for general ledger settings. So this is also a very important step. So this is in this activity, the customization settings for the ledgers, or we will check whether everything is looking perfect or not. This check must run without error message before we continue. So if there are any errors, even you will not allowed to go further steps. For example, with the migration of transactional data of any other activities. So these are all the things. I mean, whatever you done the mistakes, so all those things we can track here, and then you need to rectify all those things also. Define settings for controlling area also we need to check. Execute consistency check. This is here you will get all the problems. See, for example, in the standard system there are so many company codes which we are not taking care of. I think these are all the possible mistakes also which we will do even in the real time. So all these things need to be rectified before we go to the migration steps. So this, for example, for my company code I did everything, so RB05. So but these are all the standard company codes, missing so many things here. These are all the possible ways you may encounter problems during your pre-migration check. So this is a final check where we are doing this, whether you are doing whether you have done everything in the right way or not. So for example, if you can see the company code TA00, which is the standard company code which is coming by default. So for that, the currency conversion settings for are missing. So we have not done the currency conversion settings for the currency type 30. So, but in our company code we have done in the right way. So that's why we are not getting. So it is this how to rectify this we know. So we need to go and currency conversions settings for the currency type 30. So there we need to define in the right way. So how to define that we already knows. And the default values for the posting in the controlling is not defined for the company code 1512. So for the default value posting, so in the controlling, so we have done the settings in the previous step, right? So that is missing here for company code 1512. And also for enter exchange rate type for company code for 1512. Here exchange rate type is missing for 1512 company code. These are all the standard company codes. I mean, we are not taking care of. That's the reason wherever the missing settings are there for those company codes, basically it is giving the error messages here. And the fiscal year variant is empty for 0L for 1010. That means the 1010 fiscal year variant is not assigned, and fiscal year variant is empty for 0L for T00. Like that, there are. This is what we need to check. So we need to assign fiscal year variance properly. We need to assign the currency types. We need to define in the right way. So all the things we need to take in care. And you can see other possible errors also here. No controlling area assigned to the company code. So you mustn't should assign your company code to controlling area. So this is missing for company code 1000. Okay. And you can see other errors also. The posting period variant is empty. That means you have not assigned the posting period variant for 1010. And that's what fiscal year variant, posting period variance, all the things we need to configure in the right way. And also we need to do the assignments. We need to make sure all should be there in the place. So for my company code, everything is there. So that's the reason I am not able to see any error to my company code. So that is a way we need to do the configuration the right way, so that you will not face any problems here. So in case you have any issues here, you must ensure rectify before we move. So otherwise you cannot move for further steps. And when everything is green, then you will get a message that you can go ahead. In the real-time system, basically you for any of your company code for any problem, so you cannot go further. So you must and should rectify all, then you can able to proceed further. Check with your online consistency. That's what we are doing, all the checks here. Now we have for our company code RB05, everything is looking perfect. So we are not getting much problems here. Okay, that is the way we need to configure. So how to do the right way of doing the configuration, we already learned in the general ledger session. Okay, so this is all about the general ledger settings. So that's why when we have covered all these concepts, also most of the things we have covered in the during the sessions. Okay, how to do configuration and all those stuff. And this is for SAP accounting. These things also most of the things we have covered in the during our sessions. So migration for the classic to new SAP accounting. So these are the so these are all the steps which we already discussed, but let me show you once again. So once we done this, and we can, so also we need to activate the business functions for business functions. fin_gl_ca, this is one business function which we need to activate. There are 3 business functions we need to activate, and also preparation and migration for the customizing for the SAP accounting. So from migration from the classic to new SAP accounting, these are all the things which we already discussed. So if you wanted to go from classic to new AA, or you already there on new AA, and how these things will be different. So all these things we have discussed during our session. Just before that, and adjustments in the new SAP accounting. So adjustments point of view, you will have the new dimensions which are coming into the picture, like accounting principles and all those stuff. That you need to do the adjustments in the system. Okay, so I explained here. You already using the new SAP accounting. This activity supports you to adjust the parameters for the chart of depreciation, and you can assign this activity if necessary to make the following adjustment. Assign accounting principles as is a new dimension. You need to do all the adjustments here. So how to do all the adjustments? The same way which we discussed on the session. So how to map the accounting principles, how to configure the depreciation areas, how to sync up with the currency setup. So all these things refer that particular session. So the same way we can do. Okay. And yeah, accounting principles assigned to the each depreciation area, even non-posting depreciation areas also. The system delivers the accounting principles from the relevant ledger rules that is already assigned to the depreciation area. And note the following: for each set of depreciation areas that is assigned to the same accounting principles, same accounting principle only, one depreciation area is allowed to manage acquisition and production cost (APC) and have the option area post in the real time. These are all the things we have done. So just refer that, and change posting to the indicator for the posting to the general ledger for depreciation area. So these are all how to do the customization for these things. So these things we have already learned. So just you can refer this as well as that particular session. The system change the settings for the posting of the general ledger as follows: the depreciation areas that represent the results for special depreciation, for example. Okay, just you can go through this document. I think the configuration point of view and also the pre-setup point of view, what we need to take in care, that is important. The way of design is depends on the business requirement, how many accounting principles, how many depreciation they want. In the same way, we need to configure. So same thing I am explaining here. So only few information is added. Just can go through it. You have made use of the following prerequisites are made before installing SAP Simple Finance. So before updating the release, all the periodic APC postings to be completed. This is also we discussed already, and there are no update and termination from the direct postings in the system. And after the installing of the SAP Simple Finance, basically after upgrading the release, then you have to check the accounting principles and create new ones if necessary. Also, you have to check the ledgers and ledger proofs, and you have to assign the accounting principles to the ledger proofs. You have to assign the ledger to accounting principles to the company codes used in SAP accounting. So this anyway, the same way which we discussed and which we configured, in the same way you need to do for SAP accounting. So how to create the depreciation areas, how to map the accounting principle to the ledgers, and the same accounting principle to the depreciation areas and currencies part, everything is need to be taken care. And for the information about the prerequisites, anyway, the prerequisites also we have already discussed. but you can see all those information also in the here. This one step is here. Migration for this here you can see the preparation of the new SAP accounting. So all the steps information you can get here. Okay. Yeah. This went to different cases, different things will be applicable here. And the migration point of view, the migration of chart of depreciation. So we already migrated. I think we have created later, yeah, 1710. So if you have if you have any mistakes here, so then it will show you in the red. So you need to do the setup in the right way, and then you will be good to go kind of thing. And display the migration log and perform additional manual activities in case anything is required, and check the prerequisites for the activating of new SAP accounting. This we already discussed on all these points. Okay. So during the sessions, whatever the prerequisites which we are taking care of, so that is important here. Change for the posting for the general ledger accounting depreciation areas are unified, not posted periodically. Under the SAP accounting valuation depreciation areas, define the depreciation areas. This is already done. So we have done this configuration, and in the same way we need to do here. The only the adjustments point of view, the new dimension is coming that we need to understand, and we need to map accordingly. All you need to attach the accounting principles and depreciation areas, but these inputs again we need to take in. We need to study from the existing system. We need to take input from the client, and according to that we need to do all the adjustments here. Define migration log. So if everything looks perfect, then it will as a preparation for the migration for the customizing controlling. So here for the ILOP settings for the profitability segment characteristics. So once you created this, once you created the operating concern and created the characteristics there is a program which will once we run, then all those characteristics are available at ASC local level. Activate accounting based profitability analysis. So these are all the normal way. So the standard transactions only which we are using. So we are doing the same thing here. Creation of operating concern. But only the thing is to bring all the characteristics to the ASC local level. There is a program which we need to run. So those are all like given somewhere in the information list tracker or somewhere that you can check it. And preparation for the migration for the house banks. So here also for the defined number ranges and bank account technical IDs. So which we have seen this configuration also during our sessions. So we need to create the technical IDs and ranges. So the same thing we are doing here. So it will show you the same screen. It will show you.
Daya, I'm sorry. I have to drop you now. How many are you going to be here for another half an hour?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
can you...
Anyway,
okay.
You just go through this recording once again, and I already shared the documents also. So everything is mentioned in this document, and also I shared one more document which we are using in the internal purpose for the template which we are using for all the checks.
Okay. Is there a class tomorrow?
We could continue in the next class. Yeah. We could continue in the next class. Yeah.
Okay. Fine then, no problem. Then we are already done for the pre-migration things. So we will see the migration and post-migration. I think this is half an hour is enough.
When is the next class?
Okay.
Next class is that's what I thought to cover this today, and then next is next Saturday. Next Saturday, I think next Saturday for you. That means Sunday for me.
Okay.
Okay, 2 hours is enough. Otherwise, I will cover the rest of the topics. You can go through all these documents. Half of the things you will get in the documents itself. So we have done almost the pre-migration steps. So let's see the migration in the next session.
Next Saturday, and we don't have weekdays, right?
No weekdays.
Weekday classes.
So we have
okay, next Saturday, Sunday, you schedule from 7 p.m. EST. 7 p.m. EST.
7 p.m. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I think 2 hours is enough. But we will see one more day also we will spend for all the doubts and some other information and something also. We'll spend I mean two more additional hour, one more day, same Monday. That means today whatever I'm doing, it was Monday for me, Sunday for you. So Saturday, Sunday for you. That means for Saturday, Sunday is for Sunday, Monday for me. So we'll continue. Just go through all these documents so that you will get very clear picture, and also go through. You have 1 week time. So now go through the sessions also. For example, the pre-migrations, whatever we are doing here, we already covered in or during the sessions, the GL part, and so for example, this technical IDs.
Is it okay if I go through the sessions in February and still ask you questions, because we have
No
very
problem.
busy
No problem.
project going
No
on.
problem.
It's really
No
late.
problem.
Okay. Or
No problem. Then no worry. No worry.
I have to go pick up my kid, so I am going to drop right now. Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Britt. Yeah. So anyway, we just go through this document up to pre-migration. These are all the things we already seen and during our sessions. Just to relate what we done there and also what we are doing here. So the migration and post-migration, whatever we are taking care of, that the rest of the things we will see in the next session. And also in the real time, basically you will use so many notes and so many mistakes which we did, all I captured here. And whatever the notes also we were using before pre-migration and after migration also, I captured everything here, just to go through all the things. So these are all the notes which we are implementing. And also the template which we are using internal purpose also, I already shared. Okay. So I think that is more than sufficient.
Can you send the recording sessions? Can you send the recording sessions, especially the COPA and the material ledger one?
Sure. The documents I already shared because documents. Okay. So documents because these documents I prepared, so that's the reason I directly sent it to you. But recordings are even I'm also getting from them only. But I will ask Rajendra to send those missing recordings today, and I will send it to you. Try to send it to you.
They sent me, I told you, right, like at the last Thursday's class they sent me, but link didn't work, and yesterday I asked them, they didn't send that also.
Okay, fine, then I will ask them to send it. Those only 2 missing recording sessions are there, right? One is on COPA, one is on ML. So those things also I will ask them to send it. Okay. And for the next session we will next session anyway, one day we will continue this only, these and other doubts and all. And one day we will cover the central finance things.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thanks both. Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye.